Hello, my name's Cressida Cowell and I write the How to Train Your Dragon series of books, which are about Vikings living in a world in which dragons really exist. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about research, okay? And that might sound quite a serious word, but here's what I think about writing. I think writing is like telling a really good lie. And the more detail you put into your lie, and the more it's based on a tiny grain of truth, the more the lie comes alive in your reader's head. I do lots and lots of looking into real things, real facts about Vikings to make you feel that the story that I'm writing, which is completely fantastical, is actually true. I go to libraries, I read loads and loads of books about Vikings, and they tell me all sorts of things that give me ideas for my stories. I discovered that Vikings skied. There was a real baby king who was saved by being put on the back of somebody and going on a long distance ski chase that took him out of danger. And I thought that's a brilliant idea for a story. So I make Hiccup have amazing ski chases in How to Cheat a Dragon's Curse. Vikings thought that dragons really existed. So I thought, how do I make them feel real to you? Well, what I do is I do loads and loads of research into different types of real creatures, okay? And then I put them together. I have this creature in one of my books called a giant bee-eater. And a giant bee-eater is actually a mixture of a huge basking shark, a giant ray, and an anglerfish that has a light on the ends of its nose. These are all real creatures that exist. And I put them all together, and I then have this giant bee-eating dragon that drifts through the forests of Berserk with a light on that attracts bees to it. And it feels like a real creature because I've based it on all sorts of real creatures that do exist. I often have to do research into feelings. And I go back to when I was a kid, and I have this wonderful father who is brave, who is good at business, who is not frightened of anything. And I wasn't at all like my father. I loved my father, but I wasn't at all like him. And actually, Hiccup's story is about him realising it's okay to be the kind of person he's going to be. But in order to tell Hiccup's story, I go back to my own feelings of what it was like, looking up at my own father and realising that I was good at very, very different things. I was good at making things up. I was good at reading. So often us writers, when we're trying to tell a moving story, we go back to our own feelings, to real feelings that we have about people in our lives. One last thought. When I was a little girl, I wrote loads and loads of stories. I drew masses, but I never knew that I could be a writer because nobody in my family was a writer. If you like making things up, if you like creating stories, if you like making lies come true, maybe you could be a writer one day. Why not? Someone has to be.